When a woman first hears the words breast cancer, her entire world shifts in an instant. It feels like the ground beneath her disappears, like the life she once knew suddenly stops, and everything becomes uncertain. Fear rushes in, fear of losing health, fear of losing control, fear of losing dreams and plans, and that fear quickly turns into an endless storm of questions. What should I eat? What should I avoid? What can I take? What must I stop taking? In the middle of this storm, the natural reaction is to hold on to anything that looks safe, anything that promises even the smallest hope of protection. That is why so many women, in those first fragile days, fill their homes with bottles of vitamins, little colorful capsules that seem to offer security, as if each one could build an invisible shield around the body. Maybe you have felt the same way, because the idea is so convincing. If the body needs to be strong to face such a battle, then it seems perfectly logical to give it even more nutrients. But what if I told you that 2 of those vitamins, the ones that look so innocent and harmless, may actually be standing in the way of your recovery? It is difficult to accept, because nobody wants to believe that something sold freely in a pharmacy, something marketed everywhere as healthy and essential, could secretly be playing against them at the exact moment when strength is needed most. Yet this is the reality for many women who, with the best intentions, end up making the road heavier without realizing it. Think about Helena, a woman of 47, mother of 2 teenage daughters, living a busy life filled with responsibilities and dreams. When she was diagnosed with breast cancer, she felt like her future disappeared right before her eyes. But Helena was determined, and from the first day, she promised herself that she would do everything possible to recover. She changed her diet, she began walking whenever she had the strength, and she started taking several vitamins. Every pill felt like an act of self-love, like a silent promise to her daughters that she was fighting with all her heart. But as time went on, she noticed something was wrong. Even though she followed her treatment exactly as prescribed, her body seemed not to respond as expected. Fatigue grew heavier, side effects lasted longer, and she constantly felt like her system was working against her. When Helena finally shared this with her doctor, the answer left her speechless. Some of the vitamins she had been taking so faithfully might actually have been making things worse. The shock was overwhelming. How could something so healthy, so harmless, be hurting her instead of helping? That realization was painful, because she discovered she had been fighting with all her strength while unknowingly creating obstacles for herself. And she is not alone. This is why it matters to understand the truth about those 2 vitamins so many women take, believing they are protecting themselves, when in reality, they may be slowing down their recovery. When a woman is in breast cancer treatment, her body does not work the way it did before. Every cell reacts differently. Every process inside shifts. Every system adapts. Treatments like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or hormone therapy place the body under enormous pressure, and what might be harmless in a healthy person can become a real problem in someone whose body is already fragile. What few people explain is that excess nutrients can sometimes give strength not only to the healthy cells, but also to the dangerous ones. It is like watering both the flowers and the weeds at the same time, and that is where the danger hides. So before even naming these vitamins, the most important question is this: is everything considered healthy, in normal life still safe during cancer treatment? Most of us grew up with very simple ideas about health. We were taught that more fruit is always better, that more nutrients always mean more strength, that vitamins can only bring benefits. But the body is not that simple. Recovery is not black and white. It is about balance, timing, and choosing carefully. What can heal in one situation may harm in another. That truth may sound uncomfortable, but once you understand it, it is liberating, because then you stop guessing and start caring for yourself with clarity. Helena's experience is shared by many. Countless women blame themselves, thinking they are failing because their treatment seems harder than it should be, when in reality, the supplements they trusted might be part of the problem. That guilt is cruel, because it adds unnecessary weight to an already heavy battle. If you have ever felt this way, if you have ever wondered why your body was not responding, even though you were doing everything right, I want you to let go of that guilt right now. You are not alone. Many women have faced the same situation. What matters now is not what happened before, but what you choose to do from this moment forward. And maybe you are asking yourself right now, then what can I take? What is safe? How do I know if a vitamin is helping or hurting me? Those questions are not signs of weakness. They are signs of wisdom. They show you want clarity, not illusions. And clarity is the greatest strength you can have. This is not about demonizing vitamins, but about understanding when they can become harmful. It is about balance, and above all, about not adding anything to your body without knowing how it will interact with your treatment. Even the smallest detail can change everything. Think of your body as a garden after a storm. Treatments are the gardeners who arrive to prune, to restore, to rebuild. The soil is fragile. The roots are delicate. The plants are sensitive. If you pour too much water, the garden drowns. If you add too much fertilizer, the roots burn. In the same way, certain vitamins in excess act like an overdose of fertilizer. Instead of nourishing, they disrupt. Instead of strengthening, they overwhelm. Maybe as you listen now, you feel your heart race. Maybe one of those vitamins is in your kitchen right now, or maybe you are already taking it every day. But breathe. This is not a reason for panic. This is a reason for awareness. Knowledge does not weaken you. It strengthens you. With knowledge, you can walk into your doctor's office with better questions, with clarity instead of confusion, with confidence instead of fear. That is the real purpose of this conversation. That was what Helena discovered. After her doctor explained the risks, she adjusted her routine. She reduced certain supplements, balanced others, and little by little she felt the difference. The fatigue grew lighter, the side effects became more manageable, and she sensed her treatment was finally working with her instead of against her. The journey was still hard, but she no longer carried the extra weight of confusion or guilt. She knew she was making wiser choices. And now, you also carry this knowledge. The names of the vitamins will come soon, but even before that, you already have the most important piece, the understanding that not everything sold as healthy is truly safe in every moment of life. Healing is about choosing with care, about giving your body exactly what it needs, and nothing more. And once you embrace that, you move forward, not with fear, but with strength. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like you were doing everything right, but your body still wasn't responding the way you hoped? Right, I feel this too, so that other women can see they are not alone. Your comment might be the encouragement someone needs today. When we begin to look at the relationship between nutrition, supplements, and breast cancer, the picture becomes both clearer and more complex at the same time. The human body is extraordinary, capable of repair, renewal, and adaptation. Every day, cells work to protect and restore balance. But when breast cancer enters the story, the system is no longer the same. What once seemed harmless can become a challenge, and what once felt like a healthy choice can turn into something risky. This is why many women, with the best of intentions, end up reaching for vitamins, believing that the more they add, the faster they will recover. It feels logical. It feels safe. But the truth is more delicate than that. Think once again about the garden. A healthy body is like soil that is fertile and balanced, where roots are strong and flowers can bloom. In that state, adding a little more water or nutrients might not cause harm. But a body going through treatment is like soil after a storm. The roots are fragile. The plants are tender. The balance is uncertain. In such a state, too much fertilizer or too much water can do real damage. And that is exactly what happens when supplements are taken without careful thought. What seems harmless on the surface can throw the body off balance in ways that are invisible but very real. One of the biggest misconceptions is the idea that if something is natural, it cannot be harmful. But nature itself teaches us otherwise. Sunlight is natural and essential, but too much of it burns. Water is natural and vital, but too much of it can drown. The same is true of vitamins. They are necessary, but in excess or in the wrong situation, they create more harm than good. When a woman is healthy, her cells use vitamins for growth, repair, and protection. That is good when all the cells are working for her. But cancer cells are different. They are not playing by the rules. They grow when they should not. They divide when they should stop. And they resist control. Treatments like chemotherapy and radiotherapy are designed to target them, often by creating stress inside those cells, weakening them so they cannot continue to spread. But when certain vitamins flood the system in large amounts, they can sometimes shield not only the healthy cells, but also the cancer cells. And that is where the problem lies. It is like watering both the flowers and the weeds together, without realizing the weeds are being strengthened too. This is why balance is not just important, it is everything. Too little of a nutrient weakens the body, too much can feed the wrong growth. The tricky part is that most advertisements and conversations around vitamins do not mention this. Vitamins are sold as universal helpers, as things that can only improve health. And when a woman is in treatment, vulnerable and searching for strength, this message feels like hope. But sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for your body is not to add more, but to trust in its own wisdom, to let the treatment do its job, and to focus on real, balanced nourishment from food instead of capsules. Helena learned this after her struggles with supplements. She had been so determined to give her body every possible advantage, swallowing handfuls of pills each day, only to find herself more exhausted, more unsteady, more discouraged. She thought perhaps her body was weaker than others, that she simply did not have the strength. But the truth was different. Her body was not weak. It was overloaded. It was being asked to handle not only the illness and the treatment, but also the burden of excess supplements. And once she understood this, she felt lighter. She realized she had not failed. She had simply been trying too hard, without the right information. Think about how it feels when your life is overcrowded with too many tasks. Even when they are all good things, too many at once can overwhelm you. The body feels the same way. Supplements, nutrients, vitamins, they are not evil, but too many of them, at the wrong time, can turn the body's delicate recovery into chaos. And what makes it harder is that women make these choices out of love for themselves, out of determination to fight. They are not careless, they are strong, but they are caught in the illusion that more is always better. Maybe you are wondering now whether the vitamins in your kitchen are part of this story. Maybe you have been taking them faithfully, hoping they would give you strength, and now you feel uncertain. That uncertainty can feel heavy, but remember, knowledge is not a burden, it is freedom. Once you understand, you can walk into your doctor's office with clear questions, you can make informed choices, and you can feel confident that you are not working against your own recovery. This does not mean every supplement is dangerous. It does not mean you must fear every vitamin. The truth is specific. Certain vitamins in high doses can interfere, while others may not. The key is to never assume, never follow advice blindly, never believe that a capsule can replace wisdom. Your body during recovery is different. It has needs that are not the same as before diagnosis. Accepting that truth does not make you weak, it makes you wise. Think about the way you choose your words with someone you love during a fragile moment. You know that what you say can either comfort or wound. You speak gently, carefully, because you know how much impact even a small word can have. Your body, in recovery, deserves the same care. Every choice you make is a word spoken to yourself, and those choices can bring peace or confusion, balance, or disruption. Take a moment to share this message with another woman you know who is going through treatment. A single piece of information might save her from unnecessary struggle. By sharing, you become part of her strength. Helena said that once she stopped overwhelming her body with supplements, she felt calmer inside. The guilt she had carried, thinking she was not doing enough, faded away. She understood she had been doing her best with the knowledge she had, and now, with clearer knowledge, she could do even better. That realization gave her confidence and peace, and it transformed the way she faced her treatment. And that is what I want for you. Not fear, not confusion, not guilt, but clarity. Clarity to know that you are not powerless, that you are not failing, that you are simply learning. And with each truth you learn, you become stronger. The 2 vitamins we are moving toward in this journey are important, because once you know their names, you will never see them the same way again. But even more important is the lesson behind them. Your body in recovery is unique, and it needs choices that respect that uniqueness. Healing does not come from adding more. It comes from choosing wisely. There comes a time when clarity is needed, when the truth must be spoken without hesitation. Until now, we have been walking through the fears, the doubts, and the mistakes that so many women make with the best of intentions. We have talked about balance, about how the body in treatment is fragile and sensitive, about how not everything that looks harmless really is. And now it is time to reveal the first vitamin that seems to promise protection but can quietly interfere with recovery. That vitamin is vitamin E. For many years, vitamin E has been celebrated as a hero. People say it slows aging, protects the skin, strengthens immunity, and guards against disease. Pharmacies and health stores are filled with bottles of it, and women often buy it without thinking twice, believing it can only bring good. And under ordinary circumstances, vitamin E does play important roles. It protects cells from damage, it helps the immune system, and it supports healing. But when a woman is going through breast cancer treatment, high doses of vitamin E can become a hidden problem. The reason lies in the very property that makes vitamin E so attractive: its antioxidant power. Many cancer treatments, such as chemotherapy and radiotherapy, work by creating controlled oxidative stress. That stress weakens cancer cells, preventing them from surviving and spreading. But when large amounts of antioxidants like vitamin E are present, they can neutralize that effect. They do not only protect healthy cells, they can also protect the cancer cells that treatment is designed to destroy. It is as if the enemy is cornered, but suddenly someone hands them a shield. Instead of finishing the fight, the treatment faces resistance it should not have to face. Helena lived this without knowing. She took vitamin E faithfully, believing it would help her skin recover from dryness and irritation caused by therapy. To her, it was a gentle choice, a harmless gesture. But over time, she noticed her fatigue was stronger, her side effects lasted longer, and her progress was slower than she hoped. When her doctor explained that the vitamin E she was taking might be part of the problem, she felt shock, frustration, and sadness. Why had nobody told her sooner? But at the same time, she felt relief. At last, there was an explanation, and even more importantly, there was something she could change. This is why knowledge matters so deeply. Many women swallow vitamin E capsules day after day, believing they are helping themselves, when in reality, they may be interfering with the very treatment designed to protect them. The problem is not vitamin E itself, but the way it is consumed. In natural amounts, through foods like nuts, seeds, and green vegetables, vitamin E is safe and necessary. But in large concentrated doses, in capsules or oils, it overwhelms the body. What was meant to heal begins to interfere, and what was meant to support begins to slow recovery. Imagine treatment as a carefully planned strategy, like firefighters controlling a blaze. Chemotherapy and radiotherapy act with precision, creating the conditions that weaken cancer cells. But excess vitamin E is like water thrown wildly onto the fire, disrupting the strategy. weakening the flames in some places, but keeping them alive in others. The firefighters are still working, but their job becomes harder, slower, less effective. That is the risk that high doses of vitamin E bring. It is important to understand the difference between what comes from food and what comes from supplements. A handful of almonds or a serving of spinach does not put you in danger. The body knows how to handle natural amounts of vitamin E that come with real food. The concern lies in concentrated capsules, powders, and oils, the megadoses that tip the balance and disrupt the delicate process of healing. This distinction is what frees you from fear. You do not need to avoid food. You only need to avoid overwhelming your body with more than it can use. Tell me in the comments, have you ever taken a supplement thinking it was helping, only to later learn it might not have been the right choice? Right? I feel this too, so that other women can see they are not alone. Your story might give someone else the courage to question and to learn. When Helena reduced her vitamin E intake, she began to notice changes. Her body felt lighter, her fatigue became easier to manage, and her treatment finally felt as though it was working with her rather than against her. The road was still difficult, but the burden was lighter. And just as important, she no longer carried the guilt of wondering whether she was somehow failing. She understood that she had simply been missing the right information. Once she had it, she could make better choices. Vitamin E offers a powerful reminder that not everything labeled healthy is safe in every circumstance. It shows that timing and context matter as much as the nutrient itself. It proves that caring for your body is not about doing more, but about doing what is right. Sometimes that means trusting in simplicity, trusting in balance, and saying no to what looks like a shortcut, because shortcuts are not what heal. What heals is wisdom, patience, and respect for the process your body is going through. After understanding the risks of vitamin E, it becomes easier to see how something that looks so safe can create obstacles during breast cancer recovery. And now, it is time to look at another vitamin that almost everyone considers harmless, one that many women take every single day without hesitation, believing it can only make them stronger. That vitamin is vitamin C. From the time we are children, we are told that vitamin C is the secret to staying healthy. We hear that it prevents colds, strengthens the immune system, and gives energy. Pharmacies are filled with bright boxes of vitamin C tablets, powders, and fizzy drinks that promise strength and vitality. For many women, taking it becomes as routine as drinking a glass of water. And in normal circumstances, vitamin C is important. It supports immunity, it helps wounds heal, it plays a role in collagen production, and it protects cells as an antioxidant. But during breast cancer treatment, high doses of vitamin C can interfere with recovery in ways that most people never expect. The reason lies in the way treatments like chemotherapy and radiotherapy work. They often rely on creating oxidative stress inside cancer cells, weakening them and stopping their growth. But when large amounts of vitamin C flood the body, they can act as powerful shields, protecting not just the healthy cells, but also the cancer cells. Instead of letting the treatment weaken those dangerous cells, vitamin C steps in to defend them. The result is heartbreaking. What you believed was strengthening your body may actually be protecting the disease. Helena discovered this truth after she had already adjusted her vitamin E intake. She had felt lighter, more balanced, but she was still taking vitamin C every morning in large amounts. Each day, she dissolved a fizzy tablet in water, believing it was helping her immune system. She thought it was a simple, safe choice. But when she learned that those doses might be interfering with her therapy, she felt another wave of frustration. Once again, something she trusted was not as harmless as it seemed. Yet, this time she also felt stronger because she knew she had the power to change. It is important to say clearly that vitamin C from food is not the problem. Oranges, strawberries, peppers, broccoli. These natural sources are safe, balanced, and necessary. The danger lies in the megadoses from supplements, powders, injections, or constant high-intake routines. The body is not designed to handle such floods of one single nutrient, and during treatment, the effect is not just unnecessary, but disruptive. Imagine a sculptor carefully carving a block of stone. Each strike is deliberate, each detail planned. The treatment works like that sculptor, breaking away what does not belong so that health can emerge. High-dose vitamin C is like someone rushing in with cement, filling the cracks before the sculpture is finished. It interrupts the process, it changes the outcome, it makes the sculptor's job harder. That is the hidden danger. So many women continue to take vitamin C supplements during treatment because nobody warns them. They are told only the positive side, the message that vitamin C is always good, always safe. And when you are vulnerable, when you are searching for strength, you hold on to that message as if it were a lifeline. But the truth is that context changes everything. What heals in one moment can harm in another, and the difference is knowing when to say yes and when to say no. If you know another woman who is taking vitamin C every day during treatment, share this message with her. A small piece of truth might save her from unnecessary struggles. By sharing, you become part of her strength. Helena, once she stopped her daily high doses, began to feel a gradual shift. Her energy became steadier, her treatment felt smoother, and emotionally, she found calm in knowing she was no longer giving strength to the very illness she wanted to overcome. It was not a magic cure, but it was one less obstacle, one less hidden burden. And sometimes removing what harms is just as important as adding what helps. Vitamin C teaches the same lesson as vitamin E. More is not always better. Healing does not come from megadoses or shortcuts. Healing comes from balance, from patience, from listening to your body, from trusting the process and the guidance of your doctors. A glass of orange juice is not the problem. A bowl of strawberries will not slow your recovery. What can interfere is the habit of swallowing tablets and powders without asking if they truly belong in your journey right now. Your body in recovery is delicate, unique, and wise. It does not need to be flooded with excess. It needs care, respect, and choices that support rather than disrupt. And once you understand that, you no longer feel trapped by confusion. You walk with clarity, you breathe with confidence, and you live each day knowing you are giving yourself the best chance possible. Now that the truth about vitamin E and vitamin C has been uncovered, the path forward becomes clearer. At first, it may feel heavy to realize that something so common, something you thought was helping, might actually have been slowing you down. But the weight of that realization quickly transforms into freedom. Because once you know, you can choose differently. You no longer act in the dark. You walk with clarity. And clarity is one of the most powerful allies you can carry on this journey. Healing is not about doing everything possible all at once. It is not about swallowing every capsule, following every trend, or chasing every promise. Healing is about balance, about listening, about respecting the moment your body is in. A body in recovery is not the same as a body untouched by illness. It needs gentleness, it needs patience, it needs you to trust that giving too much can be just as harmful as giving too little. The lesson of these two vitamins is not about fear, but about wisdom. Wisdom to understand that your body is already fighting a hard battle and does not need more weight. Wisdom to know that treatments are carefully designed and adding too much can disrupt the very plan meant to save you. Wisdom to believe that sometimes less truly is more. And in that wisdom, you find peace. Because peace comes when you stop wondering if you are unknowingly hurting yourself. Peace comes when you know your choices align with your healing. Helena described it as finally being able to breathe. When she stopped overloading her body with supplements, she no longer carried the guilt of feeling like she was failing. She realized she had always been fighting with everything she had, but now she was fighting with clearer knowledge. That shift gave her confidence, and confidence made her stronger. Her daughters saw the change in her too. They saw not only a mother fighting cancer, but a mother walking with trust and clarity. And that inspired them as much as any treatment ever could. That is what I want for you. I want you to feel light enough to trust yourself again. I want you to let go of guilt and confusion. I want you to believe that you are not powerless, because you are not. You have choices. You have the ability to question, to learn, to decide. And every decision made with clarity is a victory. Not every victory comes from a scan or a test. Some victories come quietly, in the moment you say no to what does not serve you, and yes to what supports you. Your journey will not always be easy. There will be days of strength and days of weakness, days when hope feels close, and days when fear feels overwhelming. But even in those moments, you will not be lost, because you now carry knowledge that can guide you. Knowledge that protects you from mistakes that many others make. Knowledge that helps you walk more confidently. And that confidence will become part of your strength. A strength that shines not only for you, but for every woman who looks at you and sees courage. If this video has given you comfort or clarity, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, you will never walk this road alone, because every week we share information that can ease your pain, strengthen your hope, and remind you that it is possible to live with more confidence and quality of life. Click subscribe and join this community that cares for you with love and truth. Remember this: healing is not a straight line. It is a path with turns, with challenges, with lessons. But every truth you learn, every wise choice you make, every step you take with clarity brings you closer to peace. Vitamin E and vitamin C are only two examples, but the greater message is this: never give your decisions to chance. Never let fear or confusion lead you. Let knowledge and balance guide you. You are stronger than you imagine, braver than you know, and never as alone as you sometimes feel. Every woman who walks this path carries a part of your story, and together you form a circle of strength that cannot be broken. Hold on to that truth. Let it give you comfort. Let it remind you that your story is still being written, and that there are chapters ahead filled with moments of life, love, and joy. And as long as you continue step by step, with clarity as your guide, hope will never leave your side.